Are you gonna listen to the move?
I've been out the loop since '09.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back to get at that, though.
Check this. I'm at the motherfucking house last night. Guess what the fuck I see?
What you see?
Shamika, what's up?
Fuck you think you fucking with? It's Maxwell, bitch.
Fuck you in them shoes.
Bitch, I'm about to stomp you with these shoes.
I thought I told you to get a jump to Crazy D.
I did give it to Crazy D. You know, D, you must have seen money in that. You know, he used to produce those nudie DVDs.
Fuck you, thin man. I know you did it.
Don't let your mouth write a check, cause I will take it out on your ass. Damn, man. You serious?
I don't appreciate being roughed up by men, or should I say, male bitches.
Yeah, you gonna work out.
And we look for young ladies like you to host them.
I look like somebody that can host your videos.
That's right. So go change, cause we ain't got all day.
Get off for her.
Pretty good, though. Peter, I'm doing that bullshit.
Crazy. What the hell? How you in my room?
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
What's going on, people? It's episode 49. Hashtag ObservationTFR by Crazy D with my special guest host, my sister Tanya M. Congress. Let's get this started. Let's get this underway. How is everything going for you this morning? Wait a minute, I am not hearing you. You are not coming through. Now, you were coming through earlier, and now you're not coming through. This is the way that this morning is going this morning. I don't know what really to say. Let's try it again. Test. Uh-oh, you froze. Man, you're in a froze mode here. Okay, you dropped back out, I guess. To drop back in, and when you come back in, we'll get started. Anyway, people, welcome to hashtag TFR Podcast Live. That's just the way that this morning is going. We will tell you about this morning as we go on. You know what I'm saying? At least I have my water to drink. Let's see. We see her back in, and she is in place. Let's see where you are. Let's see if we can hear your audio now. Let's see. Let's try it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
me?
you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I said it's a nice sunny day here in Cleveland, Ohio. Temperature is about 40 some degrees. Forecasting fall. My day is starting out okay. I had to run and do something at the last minute and had a debacle that I can't say on the air. But I have my sliced apple here. This is a Honeycrisp apple. And of course my ginger. And I have my barley water. Right? And I have it in a wine glass because I just want to drink out of a fine glass today. And this is barley water. And I also have today, I have a nutrition bar. This came from Whole Foods. And it's a nutrition bar. This one is sweet and salty granola bar. So it has almonds and stuff in it. That's where the salty part comes from. But I'm doing good. I'm ready to get this show underway, especially, I have somewhat of a righteous indignation this morning, given one of the online platforms rude and despicable behavior. So I woke up with kind of an attitude regarding that. And more than ever, we know that as American Blacks have to establish our own platforms for things because they are trying to silence our voices. And across platform, they're trying to silence the voices, both in giving information and entertainment. They're trying to silence our voices. I personally don't appreciate it. And I don't know. I might. It depends on what I feel up to, but I might want to organize a boycott. How are you this morning?
Hey, I'm doing as well as expected. It's been a hectic morning. I'm, like we told everyone yesterday on #TFR Podcast Live, they have officially blocked me from being able to post on certain pages. I mean, this is just like really crazy, right? And then you mentioned then we had a leak this morning. We had to get that repaired and taken care of, and that's still not really finished, but the show must go on. So it's been a hectic morning. It was that blue moon, and hopefully the blue moon will be gone, and we won't have to deal with it any longer, because it's been hectic. Stuff splashing up on you, stuff spilling out, stuff that usually doesn't even happen. But what is wait, before I do that, let me shout out to all the people watching us on Periscope, Vimeo, and YouTube. That's right, the Film Review Live channel. Make sure you go over to the Film Review Live channel and subscribe. We want to see 10 new subscribers. Press, click, like, smash like on this because we are bringing information today. Share this, tag your people in this, right? Let people know that this is on. Share this with your people. What is the topic for today? What is the topic for today? The topic is freedom, D-U-M-B, of speech in the House. Freedom of speech in the House, the politics of being free in the 22nd. What does that mean? The politics of being free in the 22nd. Smash the share button, smash the like button. Make sure that you subscribe, like, follow, share us on all the platforms. Periscope. Do you have a Periscope? We do, at TFR Podcast Live. Do you have a Vimeo? We do, at the Film Review #TFR Podcast Live. Do you have a YouTube? We do, the Film Review Live channel on YouTube. All you have to do is fill out accounts, so that you can start to collect your favorite videos in your collection on those various platforms. And we're going to be talking about more platforms. Do you have a Blog Talk Radio account so that you can go right in and start collecting and saving your favorite shows from hashtag ObservationTFR Podcast and TFR Podcast Live? ObservationTFR and TFR Podcast Live. So you can save your favorite episodes right there off of Crazy D Radio on Blog Talk Radio. Do you have an Apple Podcast account? Do you have an iHeartRadio account? Do you have a Spotify account? Do you have a Google Podcast account? We're on all of those platforms. All you have to do is just go there and Google hashtag ObservationsTFR or hashtag TFR Podcast Live, and we come up. We will not be denied. What is the topic for today? This morning, freedom of speech in the House. The politics of being free in the 22nd. We are in the third decade of the 21st century, which means that we are not fighting for us. We are fighting for the group of people that will be in the 22nd century. Do you realize that most of us of a certain age will not see the 22nd century? So the things that we do now, like those who were coming from out of the 19th century into the 20th century and they didn't see the 21st century, so are we in that plight now of a certain age that will not see the 22nd century, but what we fight for now will make it better for the future generations. 213-943-3358. The phone lines are open. Freedom of speech. Let's discuss. The phone lines are open. Freedom of speech. Are we being handled or mishandled by those who do not have an understanding of what freedom of speech is? The ones that are the bot handlers on certain social media platforms. Are we being mishandled and abused by these people? And on another note, health. Is it truly wealth? So let's get started, people. 213-943-3358. Let's start with some memes this morning. You know, we always have to start out with memes to get this going. So now, this was an interesting meme, and it was circling around because, you know, if you didn't know, we moved the clocks back, or let's just say that we no longer move the clocks back. The clocks were, well, let me put this up first. So it says this. It says, I'm not turning my clock back on Sunday. The last thing we need is an extra hour of 2020. Ha, funny. Kermit the Frog, right? I'm not turning my clock back on Sunday. The last thing we need is an extra hour of 2020. The only problem is it was not a voluntary thing if we turn our clocks back or not, because it's automatically done for us with all of the AI that we have in our hands, right? Automatically done for you. Your computer automatically does it. Your cell phone automatically does it. Anything that's connected to the AI, I'm just going to call it the atomic clock, but the AI clock automatically switch the time back for you anyway. So if you didn't want to have an extra hour in 2020 as we head out of this, well, guess what? You did. You do. because we are all controlled by AI. What would you like to say to that?
That's funny. And as it progresses, see, that's been going on. Daylight savings time has been going on for just about as long as I've been alive. But as we keep progressing here, we're going to see more and more things that are out of our control. There's just going to be reset. There's going to be multiple and different kinds of resets that are done that are beyond our control. And we need to be on top of it so that we know how to readjust ourselves and realign ourselves in a way that's going to benefit us. And speaking to the the platforms and the blockings and the things like that, and them not having an understanding of expression, that reminds me of a time I was working at Tower Records in Boston, and it was BS in the game, but when racism is being enforced in any kind of way, there's always some kind of cockamamie excuse as to why something that just don't fly. They blowing smoke, right? So remember on one of the broadcasts I told you about being rudely interrupted in the conversation with a Caucasian person by another Caucasian person, and how I responded to the interruption because it was rude. Well, fast forwarding, there was a position that had become available in the store, and I had the seniority for the position, but they gave it to someone else. They gave it to a Caucasian guy that worked up on that rock floor. And then when they didn't give it, they had to give me an explanation. So the store manager, the last thing he should have did was promise me the position if it became available again. You don't do that. As a manager, you don't let anybody, me and anybody else, force you into telling them that you're going to promise a position. So that was jellyback move number one. That was just to pacify me, but it was a wrong thing to do. In between there, they put me on the A team for training and education for the entire company. So I went around to different states helping set up their POS systems and stuff like that. But lo and behold, that person that had that position, they quit. So the position became available quicker than expected. So here I come. I'm knocking on the door because this is what you told me. Like, what's up? And what they said was that, some of the other supervisors had a concern that I came across as abrasive and condescending. And so they therefore did not want me to be in that. They didn't want to work alongside me for those reasons. And I'm like, abrasive and condescending? No, I'm direct. And I straightened people out. I said, so what you're telling me, I said, that's classic of all Black women. I said, all Black women, this is how we get down. So what you're telling me is that as long as I don't choose to tone down, my personality, that I would never be in line for this position. Is that what you're telling me? So we went back and forth with that for a while, and we had to have a meeting that turned up nothing and just made them look stupid. But that just reminded me, that took me back to the blocking here on this platform, because they have a lack of understanding of what we're expressing, why we're expressing it, and how we're expressing it. And because we're not coming like sweet Polly purebred, and we're not coming, people, we just want you to understand where we're coming from. Can you please understand where we're coming from? No, that's not how we do it. And so you're going to say that because we don't express ourselves in a way that is comforting to you, that we don't have the freedom of expression. That was not freedom of speech. It's freedom of speech. We didn't say and not saying anything that's, number one, not true. And number two, how we say it is our business. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But to put restrictions on things and stuff like that, that is not how you monitor speech. That is not, this speech ain't free. It's only free to a certain degree, unless we're talking about something you don't want published across the platform. So that's what really needs to be dealt with.
Smash the share button, smash the like button, because, you know, we are warming up. We haven't even had the rubber hit the road yet. You need to smash the like button, smash the share button, because everything that we bring will be an assist to you. Right? Now, let's look at some costumes that happened over Halloween. You know, this is the dead season now, and the little festival that they had. Here is The Weeknd, and he dressed up like Eddie Murphy's The Nutty Professor. This costume is pretty good. He really captures the Clump. Yeah, Professor Clump. He really does capture him. So I have to give him kudos on that. That's obviously an outfit that was given to him because he's connected into the studio system. And sometimes it's not great to necessarily be hooked into the studio system. Sometimes the clutches, and sometimes there are probes that just probe you. But that's another story for another time. We're not talking about that today, but we will be talking about it soon. All right, people. This is a Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion depiction. Here's a guy dressed up like Tory Lanez, and here's a young lady dressed up like Megan Thee Stallion, and he has his Glock, and he's aiming at Megan Thee Stallion's toe. Yes. We discussed that before about Megan Thee Stallion's toe on a previous episode, right? Now, so let's move on. So I thought that was pretty, how can you say, callous, but it was still pretty clever at the same time. So here's one that was really good. Now, you know, to the right is Dorothy Dandridge and Harry Belafonte, and to the left is a famous model who has vitiligo, right? And we don't know who the male model is, but the female model has vitiligo, and she is famous, and she is making her way. And I remember when I was shooting models back in the day, there was a young lady who came in who had vitiligo, and I told her, I said, you know, people would be, so I'm always thinking ahead. I said, you would be a great role model for people to not be ashamed of having that. And of course, she didn't go with it because she suffered from low self-esteem. A lot of people who suffer from low self-esteem, this woman right here does not. And actually, when you look at her eyes, and you look at Dorothy Dandridge's eyes, and you look at her skin, and you look at Dorothy Dandridge's skin, Dorothy Dandridge's skin looks, and these are professional pictures, but it looks kind of muddy, and she actually looks better than Dorothy Dandridge in this photo, right? She actually looks better than Dorothy Dandridge in this photo. It's in Dorothy Dandridge's eyes after watching her story and seeing, in my opinion, how confused the person she was, how she was letting the studio head tell her what to do and what not to do. It was just disastrous, right? What would you have to say about this photo right here? I thought this was pretty good for Halloween.
It looks like also that the man has it too. It looks like, or either that, or they put makeup on him to make it appear as if he has the vertigo, but because it's a little bit too perfect on the neck area, so it might be that, you know, they put makeup on him. But yeah, she definitely does look better. And then the accent with the eyes, the lashes could have something to do with that as well. That always accents, but she is pretty, and she does capture better than Dorothy Dandridge on the camera. Even the hair was more Looks like Dorothy has a little fuzz on hers to the right there, but that hers doesn't. It's nice.
It's a nice representation, a nice honoring of Dorothy Dandridge. Our producer, Tracy Latrice, said, Winnie Harlow, that's the model, right? With the Vinegar Largo, right? Let's see. Let's go here. Here's an announcement that people should know about. State Rep Karen Witt said, Kwame Patrick being released from prison tomorrow. That was 2 hours ago yesterday, so that means that he's being released from prison Monday morning. How about that? Kwame Kilpatrick, Detroit's youngest American black mayor, mother, whole family into politics. He gets involved with something, as the story goes. You know, they had it on this greed special that they had on True TV. You know, they just talked about it. Everybody can make money off of the American Black story except for American Blacks. When they outlawed the DVD, but they say put it on TV with commercials, you can sell it. But you can't sell it on a DVD, hand to hand, telling a story. No, put it on TV and then sell commercials. That's how they topple the DVD game. But anyway, look, besides the bootleggers. But anyway, that's another story for another time. But he will be able to get out and he will possibly run for mayor again. Didn't Marion Barry do it? And Marion Barry was in the sting of smoking crack. Ready Rock from out the pipe and was caught on tape and came back to be mayor and did more for the people during his tenure mayor both times than was done by anybody else. And Kwame, the only profession, politics, where you can go to prison, be convicted of something, sit down for a little while, come back out, people forget, generations forget, and then you can clean up your act and be elected to that job again. And he probably will, a little older, a little wiser, and a little less prone to be headstrong in a certain area, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so let's keep going. All right, people. So we're getting ready to have the rubber hit the road because that was a little distraction. We gave a little distraction. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because the topic is freedom of speech in the house. What does that phrase, that sentence, before we get to the colon and the rest of it, what does that mean? We're coming to it, okay? Nice image of Denzel Washington in a fedora, and it says, once you mature, you realize that silence is more powerful than proving a point. Let's do it again.
Yes, Lord.
Once you mature, you realize that silence is more powerful than proving a point. That's why after we showed you everything in episodes 1 through 20, episodes 21 through 40, episodes 41 and 42, episodes 25 and 44, we moved on from the election because we have said everything. And once you mature, you realize that silence is more powerful than proving a point. You're going to have to go back and research after all of it all falls down. You're going to have to go back and say, well, you know, these people were giving it to us, which gets us to definition, right? What is the name of the show today? What is the title of the show? Episode 49. What is the name of the show? Freedom of speech in the house. The politics of being free in the 22nd. We already told you what the second half means. The politics of being free in the 22nd means that what we're doing now is fighting for those that will be in the 22nd century. We are fighting for the rights of those in the 22nd century. We will not see the 22nd century, but we are fighting for those to see, like those that came of age in the 19th century and crossed into the 20th century. They knew they wouldn't see the 21st century, but they fought, and what they fought for got us to this point, just like we have to fight to make sure that the next generations get an opportunity to have more than what we had in the 22nd. American blacks. That's what it's about. Smash the share button, smash the like button. But what does freedom of speech, freedom, not free D-O-M like freedom, but freedom, D-U-M-B, of speech in the house? What do you think that means? What do you think that means? Context clues. Freedom of speech in the house. What do you think that means?
To me, I'm looking at it as you have the freedom to be dumb of speech in the house. You have freedom to be dumb. I mean, you have a lot. You know, sometimes you hear people talk. That's why the meme before, the meme that you just did about, when you mature, you silence is better than, is more valuable than proving a point, because some people you can't prove no point to. You can't prove them. You can't prove it. So you have the freedom to be as dumb as you want to be. You are free to be as dumb as you want to be and speak it out loud so people can know exactly how dumb you are. That's what it is to me. And the politics of being free in the 22nd, if we don't wise up now, the next generation is done for. They cooked. Stick a fork in them, they already done. If we don't wise up now, they're done. Are you going to have, like in every generation, you always have a few that stand out. You always going to have a few, but for them, they, some say, you ever had that feeling sometimes where you say, I ain't saying nothing to these people because they don't get it. They're deaf and dumb. And I don't want to be bothered, because it's like I could get up and go stand and talk to this door in this room here, and it would be more effective than talking to some of these people. So yeah, that's what it means for me. It's telling me you free to be as dumb as you want to and speak it out your mouth so everybody knows how dumb you are.
All right. That is close. Kudos to you. Applause, applause, applause. That is close. That is close. Freedom of speech in the house. Listen, people. Believe it or not, most of American blacks today are in the house. People talk about what Malcolm X said about there is the field Negro, the house Negro, but I threw in there that there is now the barn Negro that was close to the house, the one that was the skilled artisan that knew how to bend metal, who knew how to craft the wheels for the wagons, etc., etc., etc. The artisans, right? The barn Negro, right? So you have the field Negro, the barn Negro, and the house Negro. Some people believe that they are the field Negro because they were out there on the block serving that ready rock. And actually, in actuality, you were not a field Negro. You were a patriot for Ronald Reagan because he couldn't get the Iran-Contra funded by the Congress, by the House and the Senate. So he found another way to bring the drugs in, pump them through the black community, and someone came up with a way to create Ready Rock, and then the rest is history. So you were great patriots. So yes, you were in the house. Sorry, you might have been treated like what you thought were field Negroes, but people that are barn Negroes also went to prison, and those who were quote unquote in the house also have gone to prison. We just showed you Kilpatrick. He was in the house. He was sitting in the mayor's house of Detroit. So, people, freedom. You think that you are free and that you are doing what you think that you are doing, but in actuality, you are actually in the house still. We sit here and deliver this information to you. And we are in the house. The field niggas are in the house. The barn Negroes in the house, and then the house Negroes are in the house. You're not out the house until you start to do things to shake the miseducation off your brain and start to do things to say, hey, I will not be agreeable with what is happening in this house. If you really want to know what it is to be a field Negro, once you get kicked out the house and you drop totally off the grid, then you will know what it is to truly be a field Negro. But nobody is actually doing that. No one is actually willing to be an enemy of the state. If you want to know what an enemy of the state is, go watch Will Smith's movie, The Enemy of the State. Now, we're bouncing this low rent social media platform, right? We are bouncing this low rent media platform. It is low rent because, in our opinion, it has slumdog millionaires that do not understand what freedom of speech is really about, which we're going to give an education today. So smash the share button, smash the like button, because there is another video presentation edited down by yours truly, Crazy D. Today, we're going to give a education, knowledge course on what freedom of speech really is, and plus we have definitions today. Right? This right here is an example of, how could I say, I won't go and claim and do hyperbole and say 40 different messages, right? But I did count them, and it was 19 messages. What does that say at the bottom? Tanya, Saturday, April 27th, 2019. This is the last time that I received one of these messages, right? For a message that I put down, a post that I put down, Saturday, April 27th, 2019 at 8:53 a.m. Just read the bottom one. What does the bottom half say with the F symbol at the bottom?
It says about your post, no one else can see your post.
All right, so no one else can see my post. Now, let me bring this up a little bigger, because this is very interesting. I want everyone to see this. Now, I don't pat myself on the back, but my wife and I have won many copyright claims doing our hashtag TFR Podcast Live. Now, this right here doesn't have anything to do with copyright claim, blocking or taking something down because it's a copyright claim. But we have won many copyright claims using scenes from movies, and then the Universals of the world, the Paramounts of the world, watch our critique of the film, and they release it because fair usage is if you're using it to educate or if you are critiquing. Facebook bots and the people who are running Facebook should learn some copyright and publishing law and not just arbitrarily knock people down. Now, that's not what this has to do with. This has to do with the many times that they have blocked things that I have written. Now you look, it comes back later and it says about the post on Saturday, April 27, 2019 at 8:57 a.m. Your post is back on Facebook. We're sorry, we got this wrong. We received your post again and we reviewed your post again and it does follow our community standards. Why have I seen and received 19 of these on one of the pages? Why is the film review, movies, music, culture, politics, society page arbitrarily taken down talking about fraudulent speech? Fraudulent speech has to do with you trying to sell something to someone, and then it's a fraud because you're selling something that's not there. You're a snake oil salesman. It's not real. You're trying to get money from people. We do not try to get money for people because I am a person who creates a good or a service. And right now, all the things that I sell, they can go right over to On Demand and watch. So where did the word fraud come from for you to take down the film review, movies, music, culture, politics, society podcast page, which left the group site on FB impotent? That's what I'm going to say. When I constantly receive these messages, see, this is a paper trail. Always remember your emails and correspondence that people send you is now a paper trail. Facebook is actually in trouble if I wanted to press it further, because in my opinion, in my observations of observing things and seeing the way things have gone and how I constantly receive these saying for 19 times, oh, and after a while they just stopped doing it. 19 times, oh, you go against our guidelines. Say, oops, we're sorry, we made a mistake. Because they're not dealing with someone that doesn't understand publishing, copyright law, and slander, libel, and all that. Right? So I have these screenshotted. I have all of this. And they could be in a world of, but let's get to some definitions, because we're just bouncing this low rent, in our opinion, platform. We're bouncing at the end of the month, but we're going to leave you with some definition because they are going back in their lack of wisdom and flagging opinions that you wrote 3-4 years ago and taking it down and doing that, and people are losing. And being that we are what you have to always remember is the people who are on the platform are the entertainment. Your photos, what you write, your opinions, everything, your live video is the entertainment that helps them sell advertisement on the platform. So without you, they don't have a platform. Okay. So let's go to this. So freedom of speech in the house. I'm not taking this abuse. I'm walking out your house. Have your house. You're a strange looking dude in my opinion anyway. You're strange. But anyway, here we go. fish eyes on each side of your head. But anyway, that's my opinion. Now, freedom. Now, right here, I wrote it correctly. Freedom of speech in the house. Freedom of speech. What is it? The right to express any opinions without censorship or restraint. Again, freedom of speech, the right to express any opinions without censorship or restraint. The legal right, secondary, the legal right to express one's opinions freely. Limits of freedom of speech. Limits of freedom. See, when you actively use your right of freedom of speech, you should know the limits. And so if your posts do not go beyond the limits of freedom of speech, then why are they arbitrarily taking you down? Now, the limits of free speech are rooted in the principle that we're not allowed to harm others to get what we want. That is all agreeable. Now, harmful would be subjective, right? It all depends on what a person feels that they're harmed. If you are telling a truth and the shoe fits and, you know, it's collateral damage, you're not meaning to cause collateral damage. You're just saying something, and then if the shoe fits, then, and the people didn't know, well, then you got to wear it. Like the bot handlers don't know what they're doing, in my opinion, because they don't know enough freedom of speech. You know, they only going by what is being told to them on a sheet of paper, and they're interpreting it by the way freedom of speech is done in their country, and they don't have any. Now, that's why they're here. Now, that's why we're not allowed to use speech for force, fraud, or defamation, right? See, when you say it's your opinion, it's not defamation. If I said that people are just, they are just some of the ugliest people I've ever seen, and they are slum dogs, and I said, without a shadow of a doubt, there's something like that, is defamation. But when you say it's your opinion, it's your opinion, your observation, it's your take on this, then it is not defamation. Fraud. Fraud is coming up and saying something and having a claim on that something will do something for you, and if you buy this, then such will happen to you. It's like buying snake oil. That's fraud. Force. If I said I'm going to beat your butt if you don't put, that would be force. That would be intimidation. That would be over the limit of freedom of speech, right? Other words for freedom of speech. Other words, let me bring this down so that y'all can read it. Other words for freedom of speech. Free speech, freedom of expression, lack of censorship. And this is what we're dealing with. Lack of censorship. You can call it, in our opinion, our observation, you can call it anything that you want, but when you arbitrarily rip something down that someone has built for 3 years, and you continually do it because you don't like that person's opinion, that is, no matter how you cut that, it's our opinion, our observation, that that is censorship. And you can call it what you like, and you can interpret it what you like. It is your platform to do with what you will, but that doesn't mean that the slaves have to remain on the plantation to help you to continue to make bread. All right, so here's another. Let's break down the first Amendment, right? Because that's what freedom of speech is. Freedom of speech comes from the First Amendment in the Constitution, the first 10 amendments, which are called the Bill of Rights, right? So let's go through this real quick. Let's go through this and let's look at this real quick because it's very important. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because we're putting through information that, you know, people hear these terms, but they really don't have the denotative behind it to make it have teeth on what you are saying, right? The First Amendment is part of the Bill of Rights to protect individual rights. The framers of the U.S. Constitution added 10 amendments to the document in 1791, 3 years after the Constitution was ratified. Constitution of the United States of America, 1789, revised 1992, Amendment 1, right? Congress shall make no law respecting or establishing respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or prohibiting the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably, not peacefully, but peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now, what I need you to look up, Tanya, is the difference between peacefully and peaceably. See, sometimes we have to see what the definition, what these words mean. Peaceably and peacefully. Peaceably and peacefully. That's what we want to see. And then it goes on after that, to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The right of the people. Now, we talked about what it means to be a person, to be, which then would lead you to be people in a previous episode. You need to go back and check that out. So what is the difference between peacefully and peacefully? What is the difference?
Okay, when used as adjectives, peaceable means favoring peace rather than conflict, whereas peaceful means not at war or disturbed by strife or turmoil. So peaceable as an adjective characterized by peace or being peaceful or tranquil.
Okay, so you favor peace, but that doesn't mean that if necessary, it won't be a can of whipped out if people are trying to take away your rights. So peaceably, you believe in assembling peacefully to address the grievances as the people, but that doesn't mean that if certain things happen and people get out of pocket that you are adverse to handing out a can of whip. But so we have to be clear that all protest will not be peaceful if those who are in authority cause it not to be peaceful. Now, let's move forward. Let's look at the various amendments in the 10 amendments to the Constitution, right? 1791, 10 of them, right? They found out that certain things didn't work and they said, wow, we got to come back and fix this because people are, getting out of hand. So you have to revisit what you originally wrote. Okay. So the First Amendment protects the right to speech, of press, to assemble, protest, and prohibits government from creating or favoring a religion. Second Amendment protects the right to keep and bear arms. Third Amendment prevents government from forcing homeowners to allow soldiers to use their homes. During the Revolutionary War, the Brits came in and they would force people who were within the colonies to have their soldiers stay in their homes. So that's what that's about. So most of the time the Third Amendment is not mentioned too much, but that is very important to know when people try to come up and say we're commandeering this. You can't commandeer anything by the Constitution. Do you really want the state to fall? See, this is very important. Fourth Amendment bars governments from unreasonable search and seizure of an individual or their private property. So just like a vampire, if you say no, the authority is supposed to stand down because you have a right to your privacy and your property by the Fourth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment provides several protections for people accused of crimes. Wait a minute, I can't read it, it's too small. It states, there you go, it states that serious criminal charges must be stated by a grand jury, right? A person cannot be tried twice, that's double jeopardy, or have property taken without just compensation. They cannot take your property without just compensation. Now, they have since, we like to thank Biden again with the 100-to-1 that they were taking people's property without just compensation. Okay, let's continue. People have the right against self-incrimination. That's the Miranda laws. You have the right to remain silent, etc., etc. I've never had it read to me, but we've seen it plenty of times on television. And cannot be imprisoned without the process of law, fair procedures, and trials. I have a question for people who are just letting R. Kelly, like we often mention this, they haven't convicted R. Kelly. He's sitting in a cell. Is he receiving fair due process? Let's continue, because there's more about due process within the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Number 6 provides additional protections to people accused of crimes, such as the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury in criminal cases, and to be informed of criminal charges. Witnesses must face the accused, and the accused is allowed his or her own witnesses, and to be represented by a lawyer. Now, is R. Kelly receiving a speedy trial? Why is he sitting and languishing in jail? This is not prison. He's languishing in jail without a speedy trial date. It's kind of like they did the kid who committed suicide after he got out of prison that Jay-Z did the story on. I can't think of his name right now, but it's kind of like that. They just have him sitting there. No one is saying anything. Like, what the man did was bad, but would you like to be in that situation where you don't know when your trial is coming up and you're just sitting there languishing? Or would you like it to be speedy? Right? 7th Amendment extends the right to a jury trial to federal civil cases. 8th Amendment bars excessive bail and fines. Bars excessive bail and fines and cruel and unusual punishment. Like, they keep rejecting R. Kelly's bail and they just letting him stay. I'm just giving an example. And this, he's one who was affluent through his works. What about the people who are not affluent? This is happening every single day, languishing in prison, and not prison, but jail, not knowing what's going to happen next, and no one is saying anything. We mention it all the time because it is a disgrace. It is a disgrace. Ninth Amendment. See, you have to know these amendments. You have to know. How many of you knew these top 10 amendments and knew that you had some right? At least you have right if you prove that you're a person. But anyway, okay, let's continue. Ninth Amendment. And people are like, what does he mean by that? Go back and watch the previous episode. Ninth Amendment states that listing specific rights in the Constitution does not mean that people do not have other rights that have not been spelled out. Which means that people, it may be some rights that are not in the Constitution that people have rights to have beyond what the Constitution. Khalif Browder, thank you, Tracy Latrice. Khalif Browder, they have R. Kelly sitting up in prison. Jail. It might as well be prison because he's been there. How long has he been there now? That's about 2 years. 2 years. No trial. Khalif Browder came out and committed suicide. COVID-19 is going on and they won't release this guy with an ankle bracelet. I don't understand. And no one is caring to do that. But yet this man has given you plenty of years of great entertainment, but you don't care because actually you realize that neither him nor you are a person. Isn't that right? That's what you realize. That's why you don't really care. That's why you don't really care. That's why when people tell you information about what's going on with certain candidates, which were not on the election, but you really know that you're not really a person, and neither is anyone around you are really not people. So you would just take what you can get. Isn't that right? And that's why you're letting this man languish without saying anything. But we say something because it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Amendment 10. The federal government only has those powers delegated to the Constitution. Let's read that again. The federal government only has those powers delegated in the Constitution. If it isn't listed, it belongs to the states or to the people. If those particular powers are not listed in the Constitution to be federal government powers, they belong and are the powers of the states or the people. Right? So let's bring this down now. Right? Let's run through this. Now, let's get to where the rubber really hits the road of what we're talking about. Let me bring this down real quick. Let me bring this down before I bring this up, because we have the video presentation too. But we had to go through some definitions before we come to Section 230 of the Decency Act. Right? Let me take a drink of water. Section 230. See, they're messing around with people who take time to read. Now, if me and my sister were up here and we were kicking around and she was like, get up there and twerk in the camera. Put the butt in there and put the twerk. They'd be like, oh, yes, let's put that all over. Oh, yeah, that would be picked up and that would be going everywhere. But because we are bringing something that is informational and entertaining, I must add that we are very entertaining at what we do because we're bringing you actual life experiences, telling you these stories so that you don't have to go through the same pitfalls, and then they claim and rip down work that it took 3 years to do. So rude. So callous because they have, in our opinion, no talent. If they had worked on something, if Mark Zuckerberg knew that the people he hired is slowly decaying his company and that his company will not make it to the 22nd century, he won't be there unless he believes in what the Tesla owner believes in, that humans have to connect to AI. He won't be there. And neither will his company. It will be something. Remember that thing called Facebook? Remember how you said, remember that thing called MySpace? If he knew that the people he hired is destroying him from the inside out. And why wouldn't they destroy him from the inside out? It would be, in my opinion, my observations, their nature, because they want to take over. That's in previous episodes. We're not going backwards. You got to catch up, got to go back to previous episodes and watch. If he knew, he would bust them out of there. There are reports and stories, there are videos on YouTube where American black employees were discriminated against, even to the simplest thing as people who you work with walking past you, clutching their pockets and clutching their purse. And they work with you. And this is supposed to be a diverse. See, diverse is a problem. The word diverse is a problem. This is supposed to be a diverse situation, but you as a person of being American black are subject to this. And I'm sure in other countries, in other black diaspora countries, they are subject to the same things where people are there who are working, especially in Africa. That is a disgrace to be in a country that is black, but other people are running the country and they're clutching their That's another story. We're in America and immigrants are coming in and clutching their purse and clutching their wallets when you walk past. Ha ha, hee hee. That's funny. That is a culture of racism. And so you wouldn't expect anything from those who are monitoring, because they don't know the nuances and they don't know the history other than what they learned when they were naturalized, and they're good freedom of speech in the house. They're good in the house until they're not. But don't come running when they start showing you that you're not. But you're sitting there and you're doing this. And this is why we take right now. Oh, look, they're trying to clip me. They tried to clip me there. They said, whoa, look. Oh, shucks. Here we go. There it is. I was like, yeah, they're trying to clip. They don't want this out. We're going to take a look, because at this point we don't care, because we are free. We are not in the house. We would like, hey, I sound like Martin Luther King. I would like to have the longevity to go through and have everything promoted and ready for December 1st. But if not, I have seen the demise of Facebook already. I saw it in a dream. And when you see things in a dream, when you see the destruction of something, when you see it fall because of its own ignorance in who it chose to hire. Before we get there, let me let you come in before we get into section 230.
See, I'm going to tell you what the problem is. The problem is that these people have no reverential fear of God. They have no reverential fear of God, so therefore they're ignorant as to knowing who God's people are. See, and I'm looking right at the camera, because before you clip it, you got to be listening. You have no reverential fear of God, but there's some things that's going to be clearly seen. Because you ever heard, since you don't know too much about black people and our expressions, one of our expressions is some people don't believe fat meat is greasy. Fat meat is definitely greasy, but some people don't believe it until they eat it and they have indigestion and heartburn. See? And you tried to clip it again. You don't believe fat meat is greasy, but I just want to share a story real quick. I was working at this place, and there was another young lady there. She was of a different, within Christendom, you have different denominations. She was of a different denomination, so she was a little more, the things that she would say was a little more offensive, how she put them, because she was in a very mainstream denomination that it's erroneous, but nevertheless. So she would say what she would say, and it would be offensive to people. Now, she and I were friends. We had gone to high school together, and we happened to have met back up at that job. She was a permanent employee. I was a temporary. So she and I were friends, and one day out of the blue, for no reason, they let me go. They were letting me go. Now, number one, Ohio is a terminate at will state, which means they don't have to give you a reason why they're letting you go, even if you're a permanent employee, but much less when you're a temporary. And so I told this woman, I said, you got the wrong one. I told her she was black, but she was trying not to be black, if you get my drift. I told her, I said, this is the wrong decision that you're making, and you're making it with the wrong person. So because you're going to lose your job, just like you're firing me right now. You're going to lose your job just like it. It wasn't until 2 years later I found out that word had come to pass when another young lady that I worked with there came to work at the place that I was then currently at. And she said, oh, they closed down a year ago. I said, I know that's right. I know that's right. Because when you start messing with people, and then you start messing with not only the people of God, but the prophets of God. See, and I'm putting it out here just like that, so that when the rubber meets the road and you see the repercussion of your error, you'll know where you heard it. Make sure you keep the recording, because it shall be.
I'm gonna let that sit. I had to let that sit. Oh, look, they're clipping. Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
I know they are.
They're clipping. Okay. Now, let's get to the rubber hitting the road here. Let's look at this Section 230. What is Section 230? They talk about it on television, and you probably didn't do the research to find out what it is. So let me tell you what it is and what its function is. Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act 1996, coupled with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act DMCA of 1998, provides internet service providers with safe harbors to operate as intermediaries of content without fear of being liable for that content, as long as they take responsible steps to delete or prevent access to that content. Right? Now, when we write situations, we always say our opinion. We say this opinion. Matter of fact, we have a disclaimer right in the writing. But for people who don't know, when you have a disclaimer, you are disclaiming it. We tell all throughout what we're doing, we say it's just our opinion, it's our observation. Or on TFR Podcast Live, Sundays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Film Review Live channel. Subscribe to the Film Review Live channel on YouTube. When we do that, we say it is our opinion. This is what we look at. This is our take. And we always tell people, go do your own research. So to say that you took the Film Review Movies, Music, Culture, Politics, Society podcast page down for fraud, you didn't know who you were dealing with, and that the screenshots are taken. If I wanted, it would just be another thorn, I'm sure, in the big bear's side. But I have seen the demise of Facebook because, unfortunately, my opinion, my observations, those Caucasian subscribers are not going to do it for you. They don't bring the entertainment. I'm sorry. They don't bring the pain. Remember that song, Method Man? I bring the pain, right? Into the astral plane. The astral plane. We're astral planing on this show. On the Film Review and on Observations. We are astral planing. It gets no more entertaining than what we do. I come from a hip hop background. My sister comes from a gospel, spiritual background. Of course, I'm spiritual too, she tells me. But anyway, I come from that hip hop where we come to destroy. It's only one level. There's only one level to it. So if people were really knowing what time it is, if you see something and it's constantly going, we've been through COVID and we've been constantly going and constantly expanding. What is that telling you? There's something more going on here. It is faith. I am, therefore I am. You do not know what is going on. And to have lied, in my opinion, that was a lie. And I've got the screenshots. It's disastrous. So what is safe harbor? You know, safe harbor, when I was in college, late night, after 12 midnight, it was safe harbor by law. And you could just rip. And I remember there was this dude that was supposed to be so spiritual in such a one of the religions that will remain nameless, and the stuff that he would play. Like, if I had that time slot, I was during the day. But if I had that time slot, I would have got loose. But I mean, he used to play some of the most gutterish underground that you could ever find. I was like, oh wow, man, this dude has been really whacked out. But anyway, that's another story. But to each their own what they want to listen to, not knocking it. Just my opinion and my observation. So that's what safe harbor was on college radio. So what's safe harbor where it pertains to, well, let's read it. Safe harbor is a legal provision or to reduce or eliminate legal or regulatory liability to certain situations as long as certain conditions are met. The term also refers to tactics used by companies who want to avert a hostile takeover. Safe harbor. Now, what does the DMCA, right? What does the DMCA's safe harbor say? All right. It is a regime offers immunity. It is a regime which offers, I left which out, which offers immunity on claims of copyright infringement if, among other requirements, online service providers promptly remove or block access to infringing material after copyright holders give appropriate notice. Okay, look. So this is where the whole DJ thing comes in, right? Where they're knocking the DJs. Now, there's always been a strange relationship with DJs and the record label, because there's one division of the record label, the promotion, the marketing, they give you the vinyl or give you the MP3 to promote and play, right? To put out there to the people, and they want you to expose it out, right? Now, the only thing that's holding up Facebook from doing anything, in my opinion, my thought on it, my opinion on it, the only thing that is holding Facebook up from making it so that the American black DJs can entertain during this COVID is greed. That's right, greed. They don't want to pay the blanket copyright allowances to allow pay into the various companies, pay into BMI, ASCAP, the country music, SEMA, whatever that other one is. I don't know much about that. But to these different to the different publishing companies to pay in the blanket rate so that you can then play the music. Right? Or offer the DJ. I'm not giving you no solutions. I'm not giving them no solutions because we're bouncing out of this place. It's ridiculous. Now, like I said, we have through many times using clips of films to tell something about the film. We have won many copyright claims, and just like I showed you before, they have seen posts and said, "We're sorry, we made a mistake on this post." There are people over there at Facebook, my opinion, just my observation, just looking at it, that is going to see and cause the crumble of the company. I predict that the company is going to be broken up. All the acquisitions that's going to be broken up. At 2:30, I'm suggesting that it should be taken away. Because these big tech companies have enough money now to go ahead and pay the blanket rights for stuff. To pay the liability insurance. There is such a thing. Look up liability insurance. There is such a thing as that, right? For companies like this, right? Where you pay into that and so that you would just make the claim. I mean, that's what insurance is for, right? So this is just our observation and us looking at it, but we have a video presentation, so you didn't have to do it. See, this is very important because these people are getting wacko. They're getting wacko. They used to call Michael Jackson Wacko Jacko, and they never corrected that. I mean, if I was his family, I would be suing until the wheels fell off. What is liability insurance?
It is, hold on one second. You know, some things in, okay. So liability insurance is designed to cover businesses, boy, this is bad. Liability insurance is designed to cover businesses protecting, it should say protecting, but it says protecting themselves against the risk of liabilities imposed by lawsuits and claims made against them.
Right. So all of this that they're doing makes no sense, except just through observation and opinion, that the people who handle the bots do not, in my opinion, our thought on it, our observation on it, don't know the law. They're only going by what's written on a paper. And also that is, in many times, poor, in my opinion, poor leadership style, because you should Some people don't want their employees to be as intelligent as them, but the intelligent man, the blessed man, the man that knows that I am, therefore I am, wants his employees to know even more than he, so that he can get the best, because they will bring the best ideas and say, why don't we do this? If it's a culture of advancement in the company, they will say, why don't we do this? It makes the company better. But this punitive action of hitting at the people who are your entertainment that gets you ads, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The people say, we do what we do so that we can get our little change, but what you're doing is going across the globe, and we're willing to allow you to do that. We know that you're doing it. We're willing to do it. Leave us alone so that we can get our change while you get your millions. And hopefully we will get millions, and then you will get billions. Do you see how this works? But no, in my opinion, greed. So people, get ready, smash the share button, smash the like button. We have a 9-minute plus presentation. Then we're going to come back and we're going to look at health. Is it wealth? Let's see. Here we go.
There are two really important things to remember about the First Amendment protection of free speech. The primary reason to have freedom of speech is to allow for public criticism of the stupid government. Stupid government. That's the sort of thing that can land you in jail in countries that don't have strong free speech protections. Or should I say, you would be Putin jail. Don't put me in jail. Oh, that's right, I'm in the US, it doesn't matter. The stories of oversensitive kings and dictators silencing people who question their rule or even make jokes at their expense are too numerous to recount.
Somebody dropped this House Resolution 1154 yesterday, condemning, you know what, I'm going to read this the way it should be read. I'm going to read this bill the way it should be read, because everyone who brought this to the table, Representative Tom Malinowski.
This guy talking about this House bill, right? Which could be an opening to censorship, to eliminating free speech. He's, in my opinion, all over the place. So he really never gets to the point. So you have to take him in doses because he's all over the place. And it's like, can you spin the narrative, right? So that's why it won't get any traction, because he's all over the place. I'm going to read it the way I'm going to read it. He didn't even tell us what it was. Give us the definition. So, in my key editing, well, you'll see, but you'll get the point here. Let's continue on. But he's, in my opinion, stir crazy. He's all over the place, and it doesn't make sense. And you just sit there after a while like, huh?
How many people have signed this? There's 5 co-sponsors. Who are the co-sponsors? Oh, there's Republicans, and this is a bipartisan bill. This is a bipartisan House resolution. It was Tom Malinowski, Democrat, and Denver Riggleman, Republican, Josh Gottmeyer, Democrat, Adam Kinzinger, Republican, Elaine Luria, Democrat, and Brian K. Fitzpatrick, Republican. So you got Republican, Democrat, and a Democrat came up with the bill.
But for the most part, that kind of thing doesn't happen in the U.S., which is why no one gets arrested for carrying around a giant picture of Obama as Hitler or former President Bush as a monkey. Well, that stuff's okay as far as the First Amendment is concerned, but that doesn't mean it's respectful or in good taste. The second thing to remember is that the First Amendment protects you from the government doing things that try to deny your speech, but not anyone else. What this means is that you don't have an absolute right to say whatever you want, wherever you want, to whomever you want, and not suffer any consequences. Isn't that right, Stan, you dingus? I'm fired? I was just kidding. It was a joke. If you work for a private company, your boss can certainly fire you for saying mean things about them or revealing company secrets, and you don't have any First Amendment claim against them. Unless, of course, your boss is the government or a branch of the government, in which case you might be able to claim a First Amendment right. See, like most things, it's complicated. Among the speech that is protected, not all of it has the same level of protection under the First Amendment. Now let's exercise our right to free thought bubble.
Congress shall make no law, including House Resolution 1154, respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech. I would say that we're about to read an abridgment. Or of the press, or of the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances, abridging the freedom of speech. Let me read it. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. Hey, look, a law abridging the freedom of speech.
The speech that gets the strongest protection is political speech. Criticism of, but also praise for particular officials, their parties, or their policies is usually protected. It's given what is called preferred position, which means that any law or regulation or executive act that limits political speech is almost always struck down by courts. The big case that made pretty much the final decision on political speech was Brandenburg versus Ohio in 1968. In this case, a Ku Klux Klan leader was making a speech that, as you can imagine, was offensive to a lot of people and could have been considered threatening too. The court ruled that because the speech was political, it was protected by the First Amendment, no matter how outrageous it was. The court said, the constitutional guarantees of free speech and free press do not permit a state to forbid or prescribe advocacy of the use of force or of law violation, except where such advocacy is directed to inciting or producing imminent action and is likely to produce such action. According to the court, the First Amendment protects speech even if it advocates the use of force or encourages people to violate the law. So you can advocate overthrowing the government or not paying your taxes as much as you want, unless what you say is likely to produce the thing you're advocating, overthrowing the government, say. And it is likely to happen imminently, meaning very soon after you make the statement. This case limited an older standard regarding free speech that was put forward in the case U.S. versus Schenck in 1917. In that case, Schenck distributed pamphlets urging people to avoid the draft for World War I. This was a violation of the Espionage Act, which made it a crime to obstruct the draft or the war effort. The law was more complicated than that, but that's the basic gist. In his decision on this case, Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote that when that speech presents a clear and present danger, the state can then abridge that person's speech. Memorably, he explained that the First Amendment does not protect a person who shouts fire in a crowded theater. In later...
For a minute. What clear and present danger is people who are using political speech to put a point across on podcasts? What imminent danger does it cause to the point that certain social media platforms, in our opinion, our observation, are practicing censorship on the people? And if you are in a free society where freedom of speech is the First Amendment to the Constitution, the First Amendment of 10 in the Bill of Rights, should you not be limited in what you can achieve in this country? Just asking a question. If you're going to be totalitarian or authoritarian style in your social media, which is actually a social world or even a social government, shouldn't you be regulated by the laws of the land? I think you should. So, 230 should go. Yeah, I think. Just my opinion. Yeah.
cases, Holmes limited this idea largely because it gives the government a lot of leeway to say what kind of speech creates danger, especially during a war, as was the case with Schenck. Thanks, Thought Bubble.
Whereas this group is a movement promoting a collection of unfounded conspiracy theories that have spread widely on the internet since 2017, that's protected by the First Amendment. Whereas this group right here initially alleged that prominent Americans are engaged in a secret plot to control the world. Oh yeah, that doesn't exist. There's no prominent Americans that are engaged in a secret plot to control the world. Not at all. Not at all. Jeff Bezos. Did I say Jeff Bezos? Elon Musk. Oh, did I say that? Bill Gates. Oh, did I? They've all accumulated more than $2.1 trillion worth of wealth.
Political speech isn't the only type of speech that the courts have addressed. Symbolic speech can also be protected by the First Amendment, and if that symbolic speech has political content, it usually is protected. Symbolic speech includes wearing armbands, carrying signs, or even wearing a jacket with an obscene word directed at the military draft. Symbolic speech also includes burning an American flag, which pretty much is always a political message. Not all symbolic speech is protected, though. For example, if you're a high school student who holds up a banner that reads "Bong Hits for Jesus" at a school-sponsored function, don't expect that the First Amendment will prevent the school, a government agent, from suspending you. And yes, that really happened. Also, this is not symbolic speech. That's violence. Even hate speech is protected, even if it's really hateful, like burning a cross on a person's lawn, although this might be prosecuted as vandalism or trespassing. Public universities that try to punish hate speech have seen their discipline codes struck down. Commercial speech may not be protected, but if it's a political commercial, it will be. And as we've pointed out before, spending money on political campaigns has been determined to be speech that is protected by the First Amendment, although we shall see donations to political campaigns are still treated differently, at least for now. Pretty much the only kind of speech that's not protected, other than speech that's likely to incite immediate violence, is what's called fightin' words. In the actual case that dealt with fighting words, Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire, the defendant uttered what seemed more like insults than a call to engage in fisticuffs. What'd you call me? Still, the court ruled that some words were so insulting that they were more than likely to result in a fight, so fighting words are not protected speech. One thing to note, though, the fighting words free speech exception is almost never used. So as you can see, the First Amendment pretty much protects you from the government throwing you in jail or otherwise punishing you for what you say in most instances.
My name is Jim Turner. I'm an attorney in Washington, D.C., and I've been working on stopping aspartame NutraSweet since 1970. This product is a dangerous product.
Okay, so let me stop this, right? See, in freedom of speech, you have to put in and disseminate information, because we here at the show say these are our opinions, our observations. Then you go out and you take the facts, you gain the facts, you get off this wheel, this hamster wheel, a mindset. They want to put you in a mindset. And as soon as we start saying that, we knew that that would be a problem from some who are in a mindset, just my opinion, my observations, and not willing to build a mind state where you're able to analyze facts, catch, analyze, shoot, or catch, analyze, and retain until it's necessary to shoot. And freedom of speech, you see. So let's continue on with this. Let's listen to what this man has to say about a certain sugar substitute, I guess that's what you would call it.
Made up of 3 neurotoxins, any one of which could cause you health problems. Combined, it's really dangerous. The most interesting thing, however, is it's on the market because of politics. When we started attacking NutraSweet back in 1970, we were able to actually keep it off the market for 11 years until 1981. And we had a public board of inquiry convened by the FDA which ruled that it should not be marketed. The data showed it was likely to be a cancer-causing chemical. This was in 1980.
But it's important to remember that the First Amendment is not unlimited. Most important, it only protects you from government action, not the action of private people, especially your employers. One final example might make this clear. In Pickering versus Board of Education, a public school teacher wrote a letter to the editor of his local paper complaining about the way that the school board was spending money on the schools. He didn't write it on school time or using school paper or email, especially since it was 1968 and there was no email. The school board, or his principal, fired him. He brought the case to the Supreme Court, claiming that he was fired for his speech, which was political in nature, criticizing local government, and not for anything related to his job performance. And he won. But the only reason he was able to get his job back is that his employer was the government, so it was the government that punished him for speaking out. For most of us, complaining about our employer's policies may get us fired, and unless we are government employees, we can't claim that it violated our First Amendment rights. The First Amendment, like all of the amendments, is meant to protect us from an overreaching government. There are other types of laws that help us deal with individuals who do things that we think are wrong.
1 month after that board ruled, Ronald Reagan was elected president, and Donald Rumsfeld, the president of the company that made NutraSweet, that made aspartame, was on the transition team and arranged for a particular person to be made commissioner of the FDA, who overruled the public board of inquiry, overruled all scientists at the FDA who had looked at it, and overruled the public board of inquiry who were outside scientists. So we have here the combination of political toxicity and biological toxicity working together and creating serious problems. After that product went on the market, the number of glioblastomas, the cancerous tumor that showed up in the brains of mice in the studies we were relying on, increased by 10% in the United States in the human population.
Questioning anything at any time for any reason is protected by the First Amendment. Spreading conspiracy theories is protected by the First Amendment. Speaking falsehood is protected by the First Amendment. Disagreeing with official stories is protected by the First Amendment. But you know what? They don't care. We're not under a constitutional representative republic anymore. Haven't been for a long time, since at least 1913. To believing in alien land. Oh, you can't even believe, you're not allowed to believe in alien landings anymore.
All in all, it's a horrendous story. Be sure to check everything out about it. And if you feel that you're having any kind of symptoms, get off it for a month and see if they go away.
All right, so see, people, we have to bring it full circle. We have to disseminate information to you, which brings us to the health portion of the show, right? Now, this one was a good meme that we saw, and we're going to push through this, right? How your body rebuilds itself in less than 365 days. Fact, your entire body totally rebuilds itself in less than 2 years and 98% in less than 365 days. Every cell in your body eventually dies and is replaced by new cells. Every day is a new opportunity to build a new body. DNA, skin, blood, brain, liver, stomach, bones. You see? So every day is you can regenerate your body, but it also includes what you put in your body. What would you like to say to that real quick?
Yeah, I like this meme this morning. So in less than 365 days, now, that's not factoring in any of your prescribed drugs, because some of the drugs have been prescribed to deal with issues that are already taking place in the body. And a lot of those drugs cause more issues in the body. It would be impossible for this to act, because remember I told you on another broadcast that our bodies are designed to heal themselves. So if you have some chronic conditions going on, you may want to, for the sake of regulation of those things, like say you have high blood pressure and your blood pressure is 2 something over 1 something, unless you walking around with a certain kind of level of faith like I did for 10 years. I mean, I walked around with my blood pressure is 2 over 1 something for over 10 years, right? Until I applied more stuff to it, where I had to change my eating habits. It's our responsibility to be stewards over our bodies. We're not going to eat all that salt pork. We're not going to eat all of that stuff. We're not going to have honey baked ham. We're not going to have that and then throw up a prayer and all of the things that those toxins that's in that meat cause not happen or just fade away. You have a responsibility or an ability to respond to the fact that our body was designed to heal themselves in the state that they were created. The moment you start putting other stuff in there, food is medicine and medicine is food. Food has chemical. Anything processed has chemical. So the minute that you introduce that to the body cannot heal itself the way it was designed to heal itself. So you are given stewardship over 2 things that God ain't gonna really have too much to do with: your finances and your body. I know y'all don't, in our age of faith healers and prosperity preachers, we don't learn it that way. But you have stewardship over these things. And so it's up to you to make sure that you shock your body into this position and this is my opinion. I am not a medical doctor. However, these are things that I have proven by my own life. This is my experience and the experience of some others that I know, that you owe it to yourself to get your body in a state through the food that you're eating that will allow you to come off the medications. You don't want to cut the medications cold turkey, because some of them causes heart damage. If you're taking blood pressure medication, if you stop at cold turkey, it causes what they say is permanent heart damage, which is not really true if you're going by this chart and you're eating the right foods. It's only true if you are locked into Western medicine as your alternative.
Yes, and it's so funny that you would say something about pharmaceuticals, because that's the next meme up. Pharmaceutical companies don't create cures, they create customers. Yes. Just a meme that was of opinion, and our opinion may be the same here, our observation. Okay, let's see what else we have. All right, so this right here is never a truer statement stated. Oh, they're clipping, they're trying to clip. I can't believe it. What is going on? Okay, here we go. Your health should be your number one priority. Without it, you have nothing. So, is health wealth? Health. Is it wealth? Your health should be your number one priority. Without it, you have nothing, which is a 3-part meme. This person put this up, and it was a 3-part meme, and I thought that it was pretty interesting. Let me get it up before they try to clip us out of here. Okay, here we go. Did you know it takes gluten 3 to 4 months to be removed from the body? Question mark. Sugar 2 weeks, coffee 3 weeks, alcohol 8 days, spice 1 week, meat 2 to 3 months, dairy 3 weeks, oil up to 6 months. So a little here and there constantly is always there, stopping your healing journey, right? Which brings us to the 3rd part of the meme. I thought this was a pretty good meme that they put up here. They were thinking of the people and thinking of. This is the, you know, you've heard of the different challenge, set yourself on fire challenge, take the cold ice challenge, put it in a bucket of, get in a bucket of, yeah, you know, just burn yourself, all those challenges. Well, here's a challenge. The 30-day challenge. No burger, no chips, no ice cream, no fast food, no chocolate, no white bread, no soda, no cakes or donuts, no cookies or candy. Challenge someone for the next 30 days and see how you feel. Just see how you feel without it. You know, first you're going to go through a withdrawal process where you feel, you might be even foaming at the mouth. You may feel like that. And you feel like you're in a withdrawal. You're like, I got to have it. You'll be like Chris Rock in the one movie. I got to have it. I just got to. What was that? Sugar Hill? Was that Sugar Hill? I forget. But when he played the crackhead, he played the crackhead so good. Everybody thought that he played Pookie. They thought that he was a crackhead for real. He played that so well. But anyway, okay. So look, RAIN is an acronym for a 4-step mindfulness tool. 1, recognize. 2, allow. 3, investigate. 4, nurture. Number 1. Recognize. Sense whatever feeling is predominant in this moment. 2, allow. Let yourself be with that feeling. 3, investigate. Ask yourself what you need. And 4, nurture. Offer yourself what is needed. Right? Feeling anxious? Here's a quick tool to center your soul life kit. Your soul, to center your soul. It's a life kit, right? So it's 4 steps. These are different things to keep you healthy, wealthy. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Now, so external situations, we have the external force. Like we've told you, we're in herd immunity. For those who don't believe it, you know, hey, that's on you, but that's what we're in. Okay, so look. This one came from Wayne Powers. You know, we reviewed his film last year, right? Loves Me Not, right? And he put this up and he said 90% risk, 30% risk, 5% risk, 1.5 risk. Hey, will you read my screenplay? 0% risk. No chance of that, buddy. I'm turning my back. No chance of nothing. Nothing. That was cynically good. I thought that was cynically good. You know, okay, so here's one for all the ladies that wear eyelashes. Are you ready? Are you ready for this one? I thought this one was, I was hauling. I thought this was good. I thought this was good for all the ladies that wear the eyelashes, metallic or otherwise, who get the eyelash glue. This one right here I thought was just hilarious. One of y'all's eyelashes is loose out here scaring folks. Yeah, let that sit for a minute. Yeah, that just I thought that was hilarious. I just rolled. But
that is funny.
You know, they're always trying to down the sisters. You know, I'm only care about the sisters. I know all women use beauty products to enhance beauty, but all I care about is the sisters. So here we go. This last meme, which keeps you healthy, wealthy, and wise. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. So remember, that one says, one of y'all's eyelash is loose out here scaring folks, right? And then this meme comes right behind and says, don't let these clowns disturb your peace, sis.
Does it look like I am?
So what do you gotta say? What do you gotta say to
that? You know, I see a lot of I know a lot of brothers that make comments about the women and the eyelashes and stuff, and you know, some of them, I've seen eyelashes that were up to 3/4 of an inch long, and believe it or not, for people who are in the modeling industry or are doing a photo shoot, those are very effective, and they don't always look like that from a photo shoot perspective at a distance. They enhance the eyes without looking like spiders on the eyes, because the photographer is at a distance. So you're able to tell they have lashes on, but they don't look that long unless they're close up on them like that. I tend to keep mine at probably about less than 1/2 inch, and that's getting bold for me. If it's 1/2 inches long, then it's bold for me. But I try to keep them to the natural point, not overdone. But I like wearing the lashes. They enhance my eyes and give them a little bit of a slant, you know, that I don't have naturally. So I like them like that.
Ching, 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 chong, ching. No, that's not what it means. That's not what it means when I said I was doing craft work, okay? I was doing craft work. Plausible deniability, okay? Look, all right, people. So look, a new
man, he was talking about the people that own the, man, he was talking about the people that own the hair stores.
What did you say one more time? What was he doing?
Man, he was just making fun of the people that own the hair store. She was just talking about lashes. You know, they sell the lashes. He was just, you know, people do that, right?
Yeah, people do all kinds of stupid stuff. Okay, people, so look, we got a new feature. We've got like 10 minutes left, so this is 3 minutes. So we have a new feature. You know, I'm gonna play. We just released on YouTube a 7-song compilation called Remastered. And this is the head song off of it, called Rehabilitation. It's produced by yours truly, and it's 7 songs remastered. Go there and listen to them on the Film Review Live channel. Make sure you smash the like button, the share button, share this, and subscribe to the Film Review Live channel. This song right here, my mother personally liked the flow, and she personally liked the music that I created for it, right? And so we play this now. We used to jam it up in the store. She would say, let me hear that song, Rehabilitation. And the rapper was talking about actually being shot and the process in which it went for him to heal after being paralyzed after being shot. The first verse, he introduces who he is as an MC, and then the second verse goes into rehabilitation and real life from Cleveland, Ohio. That's what I like to hear. So we're going to play it right now. Here we go.
Yeah. Back at you. I'm getting nutty in here. Just a little sample for your boys. With your toys. I'm like the salt to the water, you'll get jumped like jacks. I'm like no soda on that Yoda. Had them fiends coming back to keep it deep like the Navy when it's time to attack. Call me Major League when I swing that bat, drafted for hardball. But I'm a knockout king, unbreakable, unshakable. You can call me unstatable. So don't take this game for granted. Load up the cannon, 24s like Eddie Charles O'Bannon. I'm ready with no training, so stop complaining. Yo, you love it, hey, you hate it. Y'all overrated, so get squashed in the first round. Letting that heat go like Nate was on the mound. You can call me Killjoy when I clown, or Cujo when I write. Slap you up like Ike on release night, I'm tight. But watch your mouth, or grit your teeth like the Klan. Your face is covered with a sheet, run like a meat, or get chopped like beef. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing, months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing, months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing, months of rehabilitation. Painkillers, cherry pickers. Now your life is really realer than the realest cat you know. Pushing all that powder snow. Now you must be a Keebler elf off in the skies because you soft batch. Missing them chips, you think you lie, but this ain't Apollo. Here today, sunny, no tomorrow. Brick road of sorrow, hollers to follow, point blank. Homicide, rubber grip, and a leather hide. No vest, no mess, no stress. 3 times 2 to your fucking chest. No trace, no clue. What the hell you gonna do? Blue is through a feeding tube. I'm about to set it off. Split your motherfucking mouth. Hit it, chin and back again. Now you need an oxygen. You might never clot again. Blood is getting very thin. Low Venox to help your bruh. Post shots in your fucking gut. Every 6 hours shit. Laxatives to help your shit. Bed pants and rubber sheets. Can you even feel your feet? Maybe legs, arms is dead. Try to move your eyes and head. A power cherry get you there when you reach your destination. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing. Months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing. Months of rehabilitation. Sitting in the same position, thinking about that hesitation. Now look what your ass is facing. Months of rehabilitation. Painkillers, cherry pickers. Now your life is really realer than the realest cat you know. Pushing all that powder snow. I like that, boy. Yeah, that's it right there. I guess that's it for y'all boys. Ha. Representing about a Knoxville. You stay crazy. Cleveland. You know. Chi-Town. The deep boy to the next one, baby.
Yeah. That's rehabilitation. You know, that's dope. Making it sound like it's playing, like I got instrumentation. I got the drummer doing his thing with open with a slap hi-hat instead of the closed boom bap. I got him doing something a little bit different with the snare. Yeah. And like I said, I love bass lines, you know what I'm saying? The drum and everything. I love rhythm section, recreation, right? Rehabilitation, that's the head single off of the 7-song compilation called Remastered, #TFR Podcast Live presents Crazy D on YouTube right now. You go right there, listen to all 7 songs, put them into your favorite categories on your pages, and let your people know about it because there's some bangers. That's a banger, right? Especially when you know what he was talking about, that it was a personal experience, right? And that it's just a groove. And my mom used to love that record. She used to be like, yeah, let me hear that record. That's smooth. That's one of the best you've ever done. That's what my mother would say. She would say, that's one of the best you've ever done. So, you know, we lead off with it because, you know, I got some, because I'm a hip hopper. So I got some stuff that just tears it down. But that one's like little middle, 2-step groove. You know what I'm saying? You can even possibly even do a line dance to that joint, right? But anyway, remastered, pounding, and let's see, we've got 4 minutes. You've got 2 minutes. What you got to say about everything as we close out?
Well, this has been another robust show. We talked about the freedom of speech and the freedom of speech. And, you need to pay, just like everything else we bring you, you have to pay attention, because a lot of times we're giving you stuff ahead of when it comes out in the mainstream news. By the time the mainstream news is talking about it, we've already told you about it. So if any of you are doing online broadcasting and stuff like that, podcasts and stuff like that, you need to be looking into other platforms besides this one. In fact, I encourage it just on GP, just on general principle. I encourage that you start looking for another platform and make your exodus from that. As far as health being wealth, health is wealth, because for those of you who always have complaints when someone's telling you to buy food from Whole Foods or markets that carry more fresh produce and organic produce, and you're like, oh, that stuff is expensive. What's going to be more expensive for you if you don't have health insurance and you have to pay for prescription drugs? Some of those drugs are $90-some for one, right? And they say that you need it. It's absolutely mandatory that you need this drug. It's going to be a lot more expensive for you on the back end, not to mention the pains and the aches and the inabilities to be flexible, to do the things, inability to think properly, inabilities to do things. It'll be a lot more costly on the back end. So pay attention and do your research.
You know, speaking of $90, there's some drugs that's $200, $500. What about the guy who they sent to jail who bought the only one copy of that particular Wu-Tang album? He was charging $1,000. Wasn't it $1,000 a pill or something for an AIDS thing? And I mean, like, wow. So look, people, you got Vimeo, we're on there. You've got Periscope, we're on there. You've got the Film Review live channel on YouTube. Go there, subscribe, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, smash the share button. Check out everything that we have. It is entertainment smorgasbord. We've got all kinds of interviews on there. We've got hashtag ObservationTFR. We've got hashtag TFR Podcast Live. Did I tell you that we have all kinds of interviews on there? All kinds of travel segments. I'm getting ready to release everything, because some things are hid back. I want to just release everything because people need to watch every prolific second that we do, that we don't need a subclass platform that's about being punitive to the people. Remember, you don't work for them. You're providing entertainment for free. They work for you, and for them to be punitive against you about what you write on there, you don't have to take that. I see the breakup coming, because it's the people that are working on the inside that I think some of them are actively working for the breakup. So people, that's just our observation, just our opinions. We will see you tomorrow. If not on this platform, on that platform that we're talking about, we'll be on all those other platforms. But we're out of here December 1st, baby. So look, we will see you again tomorrow on another great episode of hashtag TFR Podcast Live.
Here's the thing about your movie, I made a curated